Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we examine headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions on how to have an awesome life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. And we are happy to wish everyone a safe and loving and wonderful and sexy Valentine's Day today. Today is Valentine's Day, and I'm looking at a lot of happy hearts, which is nice to see. I think I have a heart somewhere. Where did my heart go? I used to have a heart that I used to beat. I seem to have misplaced it. Butterfly, no, that's not it. Where is my heart? We have cabañuelas. No, that's not even appropriate anymore. I don't know where my heart went, but I have a heart for all of you. You just can't see it. Oh, that's right. It's covered by this chingadera. That's why you cannot see it. I'm excited because this week I get, hopefully, the chingadera removed. Lorraine is asking, how is my healing coming along? I'm happy to report that I was able to take a shower in less than 6 minutes, and I cleaned well all the good parts. And I'm getting there. You know, the doctor's appointment is not until Friday, but I am very, very happy that I'm confident that things are going to be okay, and it'll take some time to recover the mobility and the strength in the arm, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm also starting the week with a little bit of trepidation. Yesterday, my internet and telephone service went down. So today we are broadcasting thanks to Telcel. Let us keep our fingers crossed that we will have an uneventful broadcast, and of course that Telmex, our favorite company, will return our service sometime in the near future. Today, as always, we welcome folks that are new to the broadcast, and we invite you to let us know that you are new by writing the word new in your comment. That way we can give you a proper welcome. And we thank all our YouTube viewers that watch us later on when we upload the broadcast to YouTube. No live commenting there. No commenting for that matter, but we appreciate that you're here and we appreciate your thumbs up. Also, as always, if you have something truly important that you want to bring up, adding a capital letter Q at the beginning helps a great deal so that we can find your comments, excuse me, at the end of the broadcast. Dan does that here, for example. He says, we stopped at Licks, both the one along the Malecon, the one in Fluvial. Excellent ice cream, sorbet, and cookies. That sounds to me like an ice cream marathon. That sounds absolutely wonderful. Today, we have important, interesting, and fascinating news. I found this great story that I'm just itching to share with you about. It has to do with the history of Mexico City, particularly around one individual landmark, which we're going to share later on today. Of course, we have new health-related mandates that were announced on Saturday. As we anticipated, we have 5 takeaways from those announcements. And I think it's time we talk about President Andrés Manuel López Obrador because he's going to come up in conversations if he keeps this thing up. What am I talking about? You'll find out shortly. So let us get started. Oh no, Gwen, you're leaving already? My goodness, that was fast. I hope you've had a wonderful marathon doing restaurants with your brother. I know that Albert has been quite busy following our recommendations, and we've been watching Albert uh, uh, sharing his discoveries with us as he's gone from one restaurant to another, and we love that. Anyhow, let us get started with the news and take it from there. Okay, so we have we start with the new health mandates that were announced over the weekend. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The government has made it very easy for us to follow and summarize the five important takeaway points here. And I'm just going to go through them and translate on the fly. Number one, parades are canceled. Number two, if any municipality such as ours wishes to have an event, a massive outdoors event, it is the responsibility of each municipality to present the proposal to the health board of such event, and the proposal needs to include the prevention measurements that the municipalities are hoping to put into effect should they wish to organize massive events. Number three, the exercise of presenting our vaccination certificates at casinos, bars, nighttime venues, stadiums, performance halls, event halls, and convention centers, and all kinds of massive events. In other words, whipping out our certificate of vaccination whenever we go out to leisurely events, with the exception of restaurants, is still obligatory. Number four, the correct use of face masks in public places is still mandatory. And number five, these new measures will be in effect between the 13th of February to the 15th of March. So, in a nutshell, nothing much changes other than the fact that the health board is now empowering municipalities to come up with their own solutions. This makes sense to me from a very uneducated point of view, because what goes on in a busy municipality such as ours cannot be the same as that goes on in other smaller municipalities. So it is interesting to see that now the state is hoping to empower each municipality to come up with their own guidelines. Needless to say, the state still overrules whether things get authorized or not. But again, probably the most important takeaway for us is that we need to continue showing our vaccination certificate if we are to engage in leisurely activities other than restaurants. I think that's an easier way to summarize it. Of course, if you want to see the blow-by-blow of the latest guidelines, they can be found at this website in Spanish, of course, and everything that I've mentioned is mentioned here in a little bit more expanded way, along with the official agreement or mandate that went into effect. Let's see what else we have. We've done takeaway certificate website. Yes, we've done that. Now we talk about Nayarit briefly. Saturday, we reported that the Jalisco State of Secretary of Tourism, Claudia Vanessa Perez, was in town to deliver some H awards, the mysterious H awards. We also reported on the ongoing divorce of sorts that is going on between the state of Nayarit and the state of Jalisco as far as tourism promotion is concerned. And now we report that when questioned about it during her visit to Puerto Vallarta, Secretary Claudia Vanessa Perez confirmed that the state of Nayarit has yet to sign the joint promotion agreement between both states to continue promoting Riviera Nayarit and Puerto Vallarta together, and also the budget that Nayarit will put forth to make it work. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen there. All we know is that we are still a little bit in the dark. And now we have to talk about our president. God bless Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. You know, sometimes he does great things, and sometimes, oh my goodness, you gotta wonder. You have to wonder. As you know, our president holds morning press conferences on a daily basis. He announces all kinds of things, but every now and then, other influencers show up in his discourse. For example, his wife, Beatriz Müller, is not very keen on Spanish, on Spain, on the fact that Spain came and conquered. And in numerous occasions, our president has insisted on the fact that that Spain should apologize for their atrocities, and he sent letters to the Spanish government to that effect. He's also sent letters to the Vatican saying that Catholics should apologize for coming in here and imposing their religion. And of course, both the Vatican and Spain have responded politely through the years that AMLO has been in power. But nothing really has happened with that. But the latest thing is sometime a week ago, influenced probably by his wife, Lopez Obrador stated that we should put our relationship with Spain in pause for a while. Let's not have any kind of relationship with Spain. And it's easier said than done. Such a small remark got, foreign chancellors, ambassadors, all kinds of people, troubled by the fact that the president would just make that statement and not really go into it. And of course, the government of Spain was quick to announce that, well, wait a second, we have these many Spaniards living in Mexico, and we have these many Mexicans living in Spain, and we have all this industry trade, and what the fuck is the president talking about? And AMLO has yet to totally take back the comment and explain what he meant. And that is one of the things that is going on. One of the things that are going on. The other one has to do with Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador's relationship with the press, the Mexican press. Now, just for the sake of comparison, in other countries, where questionable presidents have been in power, there are members of the press that have been very, very vicious in attacking either Democrats or conservatives or whatnot. In Mexico, we have vicious members of the press, of course. What country doesn't? But we also have some very reputable, respectable members of the press that on occasion, as they should, it's part of their job, they make it a point to state their opinion or their analysis on decisions made by the government. Well, AMLO, our president, doesn't take too kindly to that. And he's had this beef, increasing beef going on with a specific journalist in Mexico called Carlos Loret de Mola, who more than once, in many occasions, has been very critical of the president's government. And the president, rather than, and I hope this is not boring you because we're going to talk about this for a little while. Please indulge me. The president has been very defensive to any attacks made by critical journalists in Mexico. Let us pause for a moment and remember that in Mexico, journalists get killed like you and I go out to get bread and butter at the store. It happens all the time. So the whole situation for journalists in Mexico is not very pretty right now. And our president, instead of going out and defending journalism as a method of free expression, is getting really vicious against journalists. So the shit hit the fan when in January of 27th of January, 27th of January, Carlos Loret de Mola published a report on how our president's eldest son, Jose Ramon Lopez, and his wife lived for a while in a multi-million-dollar mansion in Houston, Texas. And this residence is the property of a Pemex contractor. Doesn't look good, does it? Doesn't look good for a president that is continuously pushing a message of austerity in his discourse, and who is constantly and rightly so defending the fact that Mexican politicians should not make as much money as they do and should not get all these benefits and so forth and so on. But of course, what did Mexico's president do? God bless him. He lashed against Carlos Loret de Mola, and he went further than that by calling him a liar, and he was attacking the president and his government and so forth and so on. And to make matters even worse, in one of his morning press conferences, using national resources, government resources, he went as bad or ahead and disclosed in public the private earnings of a private citizen and journalist, Carlos Moret de Mola, and compared the journalist's income or earnings with his own. That's not cool. That's not right. It really goes against a lot of principles of freedom of speech and principles of privacy. And needless to say, now a lot of news agencies, both national and international, are very, very unhappy with these statements that our president made. So what happened in what is called it's called a Twitter, I think there's a special kind of Twitter meeting that you can have if you have enough followers in your Twitter account. So a number of journalists and personalities from Mexico, a high number, a huge number, joined by a hashtag called Todos Somos Loret, or We Are All Loret. All these journalists decided to go online on Twitter and hold an online meeting that was where there were people making addresses, including important journalists from Mexico, such as Denise Dresser and Margarita Zavala and others, saying that what is going on in Mexico should not happen, and it's going to bring a lot of problems to our president moving forward when it comes to, number one, freedom of expression, number two, when it comes to security for journalists and so forth and so on. And to make things even more interesting, the stockholders of this company located in Houston or in Texas or wherever are now concerned about their public image, so they have gone forth to the president of the company saying, well, you got to clean this up and you have to explain it. So what is going to happen after this is unclear, but I just wanted to let you know as to the extent of the problem. And the problem is not only going on between one specific journalist, Carlos Loret de Mola, and our president. This other article breaks down all the instances in the recent past in which our president has gotten ugly against different journalists. For example, his beef against Carmen Aristegui on February 4th. There was another beef, the one for Loret de Mola, which happened on the 12th of February. There was another one against Joaquin Lopez Doriga, another very important journalist, and another one against Ciro Gomez Leiva, and the list continues. So how do you draw the line between a journalist that is attacking and a journalist that is being rationally explaining both sides of the picture? That's a different and difficult answer. But in the meantime, I wanted to fill you in on all these adventures so that you knew what is going on. Moving on to other things. Folks in the United States can kiss their Mexican guacamole goodbye. The United States government has suspended all imports of Mexican avocados after a U.S. plant safety inspector in Mexico received a threat from the cartel. The inspector was carrying on with his business in the city of Uruapan in the state of Michoacan when he received a threatening message on his official cell phone. presumably from the cartel. Many avocado growers in Michoacan say drug gangs threaten them or their family members with kidnapping or death unless they pay protection money, sometimes amounting to thousands of dollars per acre of cultivation. Needless to say, we don't care as much about what's going on in the States and their consumption of avocado as we care about the security of Mexico's avocado producers and the ways in which the cartel is not only concerned with drugs. Let us look at our weather and we continue with other news. Ooh, our snarky weather says, I'm sending bad weather to the trucker protests. No comment on that one because we know what's going on. But again, it's going on in another country and not here. What's going on here is 27 degrees, feels like 28. Our humidity is at 57%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit is 80 degrees. Our forecast for today says it's going to be partly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 31, a low temperature of 20. Tuesday, it's going to be clear through the day with a high temperature of 31, low temperature of 19. And Wednesday, it is going to be a high temperature of 31, low temperature 18, with a clear day to enjoy it. And that is what we have for the weather forecast. Moving right along, I have the most... Oh my God, we have to start with the lady. We have a new lady. Meet Lady Aeromexico. This very entitled lady hopped on a bus, on an Aeromexico plane in Mexico City bound for Paris. She had a boarding pass that clearly indicated she belonged in tourist class, not premier class, but she took it upon herself to move up to premier class and sat in another seat. And when the people that run the plane said to her, lady, you cannot be sitting here. This is not your seat. She wouldn't budge. And this went on for an hour. And eventually, in an hour of just sitting at the tarmac, not being able to take off because this Lady Aeromexico decided, oh no, I'm sitting here and I don't care what you say. And finally, they managed to get her off the plane and the plane was able to take off. What do these people have for breakfast to think that they can get away with such entitlement is a mystery to me. Right. Oh, we have one more right before we get into our fascinating story of today. I want to let you know that we're confirming that starting today, the city is implementing the bell before you take your trash out in different colonias. It's been announced at different times for different colonias. For example, I came across one announcement for Colonia Emiliano Zapata that says that their collection is going to be in the morning. So some colonias have trash collection at different times, and we should be happy, I think, that the city is trying to get their act together as far as presenting a more efficient way to dispose of our trash. Let's hope that it works. And now I want to introduce you to a very, very lovely lady. Meet Diana the Hunter, La Diana Cazadora, we call her in Spanish. She is one of the most iconic landmarks in Mexico City. She is located right in the middle of the gorgeous Paseo de la Reforma, one of the city's, or arguably the city's most beautiful avenue, and certainly one of the most important. There she is. She is all naked, isn't she? The sculpture was created by Mexican artist Juan Fernando Olaguibel in 1942. It was installed and inaugurated on the same year, on October 10th, to be precise. And the Mexican society at the time did not take too kindly to the sculpture. You see, she was butt naked. And there were many attempts made at the beginning to cover her private parts, just like that sculpture, that naked lady that we have here in Puerto Vallarta. But in the process of trying to cover her naked parts, the original sculpture was damaged this happened like in 1944, shortly, and 2 years after she was installed. She was damaged, and the original was taken away. A replica was founded, and that is the sculpture that we're looking at today. The original was repaired, but it was put in storage, and it wasn't until 1970 that Alfonso Corona del Rosal, who was the mayor of Mexico City at the time, he figured, well, we have this thing in storage, we might as well donate it to the town where the sculpture was born, and this is the town of Ixmiquilpan in the state of Hidalgo. And that's where the original is. So we have a replica in Mexico City that you're looking at, and we also have our another replica installed in Acapulco. Now you're probably wondering, why do we bring you this story today? Well, it so happens that we bring you this story today because the woman that posed for the sculpture, in order for the sculpture to be created, Elvia Martinez, passed away this past Saturday. She was 100 years of age, and her story is just as fascinating as the sculpture. Elvia was 19 years of age when a search for a model for the sculpture was announced in Mexico City. At the time, she was employed as the personal secretary of Efraín Buenrostro Ochoa, who was the president of Pemex. He was the director. So let us just say that she had an important job. She was chosen, and she was thrilled to pose for the artist, and in fact didn't charge a single peso to do it. However, being concerned that if she announced her identity, she might lose her job, she said to the sculptor, I'll pose for you, I won't charge you a penny, but you cannot disclose my real identity. So for decades, the public kept wondering, oh my goodness, who was this sculpture inspired by? Who was the original Diana Cazadora? And there was a lot of speculation for a long time, and it wasn't until decades later, in 1992, that she published a book. And the book is called The Secret of the Diana Cazadora. And it is in that book that she writes that she is the one and the only and the original model. And in June of 2016, Doña Elvia received an important award from Mexico City, Las Alas de la Ciudad, or the Wings of the City. That's the most important award that Mexico City bestows on any on any citizen, in recognition for being the inspiration of one of the most emblematic symbols in Mexico City. And of course, may she rest in peace. Now, how fun it would be to find the book and read it and learn all the interesting historical details from that period. I'm going to look for it because that sounds like an interesting read. And I hope you appreciated that story. Before we begin looking at our comments, I want to leave with an invitation to consider a cooking class. Apparently, Oculto's tamale making class was so successful that they're bringing it back, and now they're adding also a segment on how to make salsas. So Oculto is announcing another class, this one on making tamales and salsas. It's going to take place on Monday, February 28th in the morning. It's a single day. You go, you learn how to make these things, and then you enjoy them for lunch. Of course, we know that the class is going to be taught by both Carmen Porras and her chef Diego Sanchez. It's hands-on. It should be fun, and we will leave you with all the information that you need to sign up for this fun cooking class. And now, let me take a look at some of your comments. And starting with Jenny, that says, what a cool story. Before I rewind, this one caught my eye. Did she post nude? Yes, she did. And there are photos to testify for this. And there are accounts that her mother was absolutely furious with her daughter. How dare you show your privates to all these men? The mother said. Again, we're going to look for the book. We have lots of good morning as always. And we've survived half an hour of broadcast without Telmex getting ugly. I mean, Telcel, and this is a good thing. Lots of wishes for a happy Valentine's, and we wish happy Valentine's Day back to you. Uh, let's see what else we have. We saw that one. Yes, we saw that one too. Chris says the U.S. should be fine because California has a huge avocado industry. Again, we're not really concerned about that, Chris. We're more concerned about the well being of our own people. With all due respect, of course. Let's see. Oh no, Albert is going back home tomorrow as well. Well, I'm so glad you had such a great exploration of restaurants, and I hope you come back soon. Yay. Let's see what else we have. Very dangerous for journalists. Yes, unfortunately, that is the truth. Sherry says, how terrible to be threatened. Let me give you a little bit of reality check, and I don't take pride in saying this, Sherry. The threats against businesses and growers and farmers are closer to home than you think. And this is unfortunate. And by home, I mean Puerto Vallarta. The threats to businesses are closer than you think. And this is a sad reality. Let's see what else. Da 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 da. Let's see. More happy Valentines. Diana, the goddess of the hunt. Yes. Eric says, how does one dispose of trash if they aren't home to hear the bell? It's not that efficient, sadly. Well, Eric, I don't know what to tell you. And this is just going to come from me. Putting trash on the street at any time is not efficient either. Most businesses have specific operating hours. And for better or worse, we have to abide by those hours. You know, if I have to go to the bank to make a withdrawal and the bank is not open at the time in which I make a withdrawal, I want to make a withdrawal, the bank is not going to change that for me because I'm just one person. The same way, the trash collection is a business. The city is willing and able to operate it at certain times. So if you are not going to be home at the time in which the trash is going to be collected, you need to collect your trash at home and make it a point to be available when the trash comes, whenever the trash is going to come. It's that simple. It's not good, and it's not perfect for everyone, but that's the way it is. Mihal says, so if you are sleeping at 6:30 in the morning and you miss the bell, that would be you? Well, Mihal, I remember living in Boston having to get up at certain times to schlep the snow from the sidewalk to not schlep the snow, to, what do you do with snow? To remove the snow from the sidewalk, because if I didn't, the inspectors would come by and we would be fined. So when I lived in the United States, there was no room for me to complain. I knew what I had to do to follow the law. So what is different between that and having to get up at a certain time, I wonder? How do we find out when our own Colonia trash collection is? That is a good question, Brandy. The government has been posting different colonias on Facebook, and I am sure that at some point the government will make a comprehensive list of the schedule for all the colonias, or at least I think they should. And that's how we do it. Let's see what else. Kathy and I are going to head over to Santuario del Taco for a late breakfast to celebrate Valentine's Day. They said the other day that they will have birria tacos in the morning. Oh my God, that almost sounds like a tempting invitation. Maybe I'll see you there, maybe not. Let's see what else. Some neighborhoods have twice a day, 8 in the morning and 8 at night. That must be because the city has decided that a lot of trash gets collected in your neighborhood. Uh, let's see what else. Let's see what else. Couldn't find them on Google Maps. Where are they? I don't know who they are, so maybe that's not directed to me. Uh, let's see what else. Da, 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 da. You might as well check if your neighborhood has a Facebook group and ask there. I'm in 5 de Diciembre. That's a great suggestion. Jenny wants the book. Again, I'll go looking for it and I'll let you know. Oh, sorry, I pointed at the wrong one. Jenny wants the book and he wants to read it. I'm going to find it and I see if it's available. Oh, but Barbara reports that Lila has Azteca soup. That's wonderful. I'm definitely going to go check it out. Let's see what else. Shoulder feels much better. Thank you. I think it's going to take a matter of time to go through the physical, what do you call it? Physical training, physical therapy. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see what else. Eric agrees, but wouldn't receptacles control the mess and also allow? Well, yes, they do that very efficiently in other countries. I remember living in the United States. There were trash receptacles everywhere, and some colonias have trash receptacles. In fact, some condos, when I lived in Loma del Mar has receptacles. But why the city is not willing and able to install receptacles everywhere, that would be a question for the city. And maybe the city has an explanation. And Angelica says, I know of people and businesses that have been threatened by the cartel. They want them to pay them money every month. Unfortunately, I do too. Thank you. Shovel the snow. That's what I meant. Again, Eric, it's a matter of getting close to the city and discussing this with the city. I am sure that the city would be open to understanding your needs and seeing what would work for you. Yes, again, this trash thing is complicated and it's not going to be an easy answer for everyone, but it's a matter of ouch. I don't know who this is directed to, but I sure you're genuinely just curious, Lori. Again, every country has is flaws, and whereas we allow a certain amount of latitude when it comes to complaint and understanding, et cetera, people move for different reasons, and we are going to try to keep it as nice as we can, aren't we? And this brings us to the end of this Coffee and Headlines. I hope you had an interesting time. I hope you learned something new. I hope you were inspired. One more question. Do they have recycling here? Angelica, I don't know the answer to that question. That might be a good question for the city. I don't separate my trash because they don't seem to care about it. However, I see that some places like shopping centers separate their trash. So there must be some kind of recycling going on. At least I'd hope to think that is the case. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have a great beginning of the week. Wish me good luck with Telmex and wish me good luck at the end of the week with my arm. I'll keep you posted on that. And have a great day. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.